get you some breaking news coming into us here at CNN. New video now showing members of the Texas National Guard on the ground near Chicago. This is at the Elwood U.S. Army Reserve Center. So a law enforcement source is telling us around 200 Texas Guard troops have arrived in that area on orders from President Donald Trump. CNN's Omar Jimenez is outside of that military facility and joins us now. So Omar, what else are you seeing there? What kind of activity has been happening today?
Well, as of the last few minutes, not much. And the reason for that being is we are just outside the Army Reserve Training Center. You might be able to see the sign there. And what we were watching for were troops that were gathering at one point, but then these trucks were pulled in front of us to block our view. I mean, literally one by one, they were lined up as we were trying to see on the other side of these. We did, though, before the trucks actually got here, see what appeared to be National Guard troops with the T insignia on their left arms, which matches what we saw from Governor Greg Abbott when he tweeted out pictures showing them being deployed here. Obviously, at this point, Governor Abbott has said they are here. We have observed them here on the ground as well. Now, what's interesting is now it comes down to what exactly is happening at this base. This is really the only vantage point we have at all to see any form of what's going on the base. And we have seen some troops actually walking back and forth here a little bit. We see some walking, but it's just hard to get a close view to see if they, again, have that patch on their arms indicating they are from Texas. Now, one of the things they are likely doing at this point, I mean, it is a training center. We don't exactly know what the scope of their orders here will be. It's actually one of the questions that the federal judge in this case, who's ruling over the lawsuit Illinois and the city of Chicago filed against the Trump administration, wanted to know too. What exactly will they be doing? Will these be people facing deployments? Will these be just to protect federal employees or federal personnel and property, as some of the initial orders from the White House have laid out? Those are part of the questions that, of course, a lot of people have at this point, but it does seem right now that the Texas National Guard not only is here on the ground in Illinois, outside of here in Chicago, but at this particular base, the beginning stages of what is still to be seen as to what the reality of any deployment actually looks like, Eric.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to have you on the ground there, and fascinating the way they so quickly tried to maneuver those trucks to block the view. Omar, appreciate it. Thank you. Boris?
Let's dig deeper on this with retired U.S. Army Major General William Enyart. He's a former Adjutant General of Illinois, which is the highest ranking military official in the Illinois National Guard. General, thank you so much for being with us. Democratic Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois claims that National Guard members are being used as political pawns for President Trump. Do you share that concern?
Well, I think that's a pretty accurate assessment by Senator Durbin. You know, bringing in Texas National Guard is really a vast overreach for the federal government here. One of the things that we pride ourselves on in the Illinois National Guard are our contacts and our network with other public resources. And we worked extensively with Chicago Police Department, Chicago Fire Department, emergency management agencies, and indeed police departments and sheriff's departments throughout the state of Illinois, particularly in our natural disaster response framework. So to bring in someone from 1,000 miles away who doesn't have any of those contacts, doesn't have any of that network developed, is absolutely a hazard to public safety. It's not a benefit to public safety.
I wonder, General, if you have any concerns about the training that these guardsmen have in the context of the job that they might be now doing in Illinois.
Well, Boris, the National Guard is a wonderful instrument. I like to think of it as a Swiss Army knife. We've got a lot of skills, but we are not trained civilian law enforcement officers. These National Guardsmen will get a couple of hours at most of civil disturbance training. They may get some rules, and they certainly should get some rules of engagement training, but they don't have the months and years of training and the ongoing continuing education that police officers here in Illinois are required to have. So they are putting an untrained force into what may become a hazardous situation. And it's a situation. I spoke last night with a very senior official in the Illinois State Police who assured me that the Illinois State Police have things under control in conjunction with the local police and the Cook County Sheriff's Department.
To that point, the administration argues that ICE officials and federal agents are not able to manage their mission given demonstrations and the public response to the immigration crackdown. It doesn't seem like you actually believe that that is the case, this merits sending the National Guard, that there is, in the administration's eyes, an open rebellion.
Well, that's ridiculous. In fact, the latest video coming from the ICE facility shows there are exactly 2 demonstrators there. So if all of these ICE folks are terrified of 2 demonstrators, then perhaps we need different ICE agents. And in fact, when I was speaking to the Illinois State Police official last night, that official indicated to me that in that official's opinion, these folks are, quote, I'm directly quoting, cowboys, end quote. And the Illinois State Police are highly skilled, very professional officers, and if they needed any help, they wouldn't hesitate to call. I know that the director of the state police sits in the governor's cabinet, along with the current adjutant general who commands the National Guard. They've got each other on speed dial. And if they needed somebody, they'd pick up that phone and call, and it would happen immediately. This is just an overreach by the federal government. Donald Trump is trying to distract from all of his problems, whether it be tariffs or the Epstein files or the crashing labor market.
Major General William Enyart, thank you so much for the time.